Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, Remo.
Hello, hello. Hope everybody's doing well.
Yep, I am. How about you?
Very well, thank you. If we get a chance, it'll be great to schedule some debriefs next week, if
Oh yes, oh
possible.
yes. Yep, that was part of my. I was planning on having a conversation with Leon on that.
Okay.
I know I am out on Monday. When are you back?
I shall be back on. I travel on Friday. I'll be back on Saturday.
Okay. Will you be in the office on Monday?
Yes, I will.
If you want, you can meet in the morning before I start my random Monday
I usually
things.
have meetings on Monday morning. Maybe afternoon's better, or any other time in the week. I just usually have my business meetings, business review meetings on Monday mornings.
It's better we do Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay.
We do have some updates for you. So
Okay.
I was going to ask Leon to check your availability, and then we meet next week.
Okay, not a problem.
Hi, Leon.
Hello, Leon. Hi, Pranjit. Ellen.
Hi, Remo. Hi, Philip.
Felix.
Hi, everyone.
Okay. So looks like we have. Okay. We have Ellen and Felix on the call. I think that's what I can see. Or are they in the
Yes,
lobby?
that's correct. Yes.
Right.
We'll start at 4:05. See you some
3:05.
3:05. Sorry, I'm looking at my Dubai time.
Okay, it's 5 past. Philip, over to you.
Yep, I think we can get started. Leon, please kindly welcome the guest as well as reading us the agenda for the day.
Okay. Am I audible enough?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So I just want to thank everyone for joining us for this webinar session. I know more people will join once we have kicked off. So I know we have different people joining from different countries, and we really appreciate you sparing time today for this session. So allow me to share my screen so that I can set the pace for today's webinar and just set the mood and have a quick tour on the agenda on what to expect today. So let me know once you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So the theme for the webinar has been revolving around empowering nonprofits with Microsoft Cloud Solutions, which is powered by AI. And I'll do an introduction, and I'll also have my team will also do an introduction. So my name is Leon Ocholi. So I serve as a business development consultant for the region. So basically, my day-to-day job description is helping customers and prospects during this transformation journey, and advising them on the best practices based on their business requirements. So I'm more of a subject matter expert. So that's just a brief about me. And what should we expect from today's webinar? So basically, the session will take around 2 hours, and I'll assure you this will be very insightful. A lot of good stuff from the Microsoft side. Then number 2, we'll have an introduction overview, and we'll also have a demonstration on Microsoft Business Central, and all the microphones are muted. So if you have any questions, just type on the chat and we will respond. But also we'll have a follow-up. We'll also be doing follow-ups after this webinar. So I'll be sending you thank you notes. And if you have any further questions, if you need a one-on-one session with us, feel free to ask. We are always available, and we can always plan these sessions. Okay, so the webinar actually started on day 1, which was yesterday. I know we have people who joined in yesterday and they're also on today's call. Much appreciated. And basically for day 1, we did an overview presentation for the social impact side, and we also looked at fundraising and engagement campaigns. And we also did an overview of Brightpoint as a gold Microsoft partner, what we do in the region, where we come in, and also our relationship with Microsoft. So for agenda for today, day 2. So basically, day 2 will revolve around AI. So we will have a session for a real-world user case for AI. So basically, this is a user case of an AI solution that is working for a company and how they're benefiting from this. Then, of course, we'll also have a session for automating business operations. So how do you automate your business processes end to end? So at the end of the day, you have real-time visibility and you're able to run better and faster as an organization. So we all know that the non-profit sector tends to operate in very tight budgets. So the cost of up-to-date technology can be prohibitive. But effective use of technology can actually spawn innovation, improvements, and efficiency within the non-profit sector. So and better delivery when it comes to our day-to-day missions, more than justifying the cost and the challenges of the organization change. So what is Microsoft doing? So Microsoft has introduced new artificial intelligence tools and capabilities within the Microsoft ecosystem. That's what we call cloud for nonprofit, to actually help organizations improve their fundraising and marketing activities, while also, on the other hand, helping them reduce costs and also increase operation effectiveness and efficiencies. So with solutions such as fundraising and engagement, donor-centric marketing, we're looking at things like how to improve engagement and productivity, and also how do we leverage on data to find donors who are most likely to donate, because that's our core business. So by taking advantage of these easy-to-use AI-powered solutions, nonprofits can actually better and understand supporters. And at the end of the day, you're able to increase your donor loyalty and lifetime giving because of the efficiencies and the controls you have in place. Another point that I'll also mention, from Microsoft and from Brightpoint perspective, our commitment is actually to work closely with nonprofits, or work closely with the nonprofit sector and their partners to actually develop and deploy AI capabilities that at the end of the day will help nonprofits address their biggest challenges they face while building their capacity for greater success in the future. So that's our main objective. So with that said, setting the tone for today's engagement, I'll want to welcome our speakers for the day. I'll welcome Wairimo to introduce herself. I know Philip will also introduce herself towards the end. So basically, Wairimo will introduce herself and discuss some of the initiatives from Microsoft, specifically for the nonprofit sector, because that's our bread and butter, and how Microsoft is leading from the front to make this transformation a reality. So without further ado, Wairimo, welcome.
Thank you, Leanne, and hello, everybody. Welcome to today's session. My name is Wairimo Gashara. I work with the Microsoft Technology for Social Impact. This is an organization that sits within Microsoft Philanthropies, and we work wholly with nonprofit organizations, UN agencies, and intergovernment organizations that are looking to use Microsoft technology for mission work as well as back office operations. My background is in business process automation, and I'm very excited in today's discussion around Dynamics Business Central, and more so real life use cases for AI that we could be able to put together. And with that, let's get started. I'll tell you a little bit more about the work we do in Tech for Social Impact and how this can be beneficial to you. Leon, if you could help me with the slides. Thank you. So a little bit of a background. If you joined us yesterday, I shared this, but I'm going to share again because I think it's important to set the scene of what is happening globally, or at least what we are seeing is happening globally. We are seeing three key changes affected the nonprofit industry. Number one, there are massive changes in the donation and giving behavior, whereby we are seeing that 10% of volume, 10% of giving volumes is reducing every year. And the value of recurring donors is also increasing. While at the same time, we're finding that 57% of nonprofit fundraising professionals are very concerned about finding new donors. Number two, we're seeing elements around staffing crisis. We find that 33% or more of nonprofit reports that at least 20% of vacancies go unfilled. And this is doubled from fundraising roles specifically. And then lastly, there are lots of layoffs. And perhaps this is even across board, not just nonprofits. This is an element of inflationary pressure that's driving organizations to think about optimization, to do more with less. And this really underpins the conversation of today, because as we talk about Dynamics Business Central as an ERP, which is an enterprise resource planning tool, the idea is to be able to optimize your business processes, at the same time give you new capability, and at the same time thinking about what capacity your organization on a skilling end would need to be able to brush up to in order to take advantage of these tools. Continuing, and I think this works very well with our mission as our organization. This is our CEO Satya Nadella, and essentially companies that can do more should do more. And so our collective objective is to be able to use technology use technology to impact society, and our mission remains as such and constant. So everybody on the planet, including the planet itself, needs to benefit from our technology. And so as Tech for Social Impact, we're here to bridge that gap. And how do we do this? I mean, in the fiscal year of 2023 alone, we gave away 3.8 billion worth of grants on discounted software and services. And these are the things you're aware of, all the way from free Office 365 seats, Azure services, Azure credit services at no cost, plus additional grants that are available for your organizations to take advantage of. We also have a very interesting program called the Employee Giving, whereby in this fiscal year we gave 242 million, was donated to about 105 from 105 Microsoft employees. So how this works essentially is Microsoft employees can get to volunteer at your organizations using both their professional skills and other skills, to be able to give time back to you and money as well, and be able, Microsoft will be able to match this particular investment by employees to your nonprofit agencies. So if you're interested to see how we could collaborate on volunteering opportunities, this is also something interesting for your organization. And then lastly, we impacted 325,000 nonprofits worldwide. I believe about 100,000 of these fall in Africa. And so I would love to expand this number. And that is my sole mission, covering the Africa continent. So this is the exciting stuff. I shared a little bit on day one yesterday, if you're with me, but I'm going to repeat it again. So what you're seeing in front of you are essentially the Microsoft Cloud for Nonprofit technology or platforms that we have customized to be able to fit a nonprofit's unique characteristics and business processes. And 4 key components are here. On the left-hand side is what we discussed in day one, which is elements around fundraising, marketing, and communication. The idea here being that we're using or we're creating AI-powered personalized donor communication, creating that customer 360 to be able to tell our story and increase our fundraising efforts, while at the same time adequately reporting on how these funds are being utilized, which is what we're going to look at today on the right-hand side, looking at program design and delivery, as well as finance and operations. So on the left side of it is what you would know as your classical back office, perhaps not considered that exciting like the fundraising side, but absolutely instrumental in running an efficient and an effective organization, and as well in your reporting structures back to your various stakeholders. And so in today's session, we're going to look at the bottom right corner there on finance and operations, how we can be able to fast track internal reporting and analysis, how we can be able to do some predictions on the impact of our funding and program budgets. So that will be very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how the questions come up in that area. Moving on, I think it's also very important to call out right at the center of our solutions, security and information protection is at core. And so we want you to trust us with your data because we are a responsible cloud provider. And what we mean by this are three things that we assure you. Number one, your data is your data. We have no access to your data to read your data. We might be a data processor for you, but we do not read your data. Your data remains yours, and we ascertain that there is security on the same, which we call shared security between ourselves and yourself as the data owner. Number two, your data is not used to fine-tune any of our foundation AI models. So as you go through these sessions and you see how we're injecting AI into business process automation, what you'll know is that what we do is we use the characteristics of the data that we get, and not necessarily the data itself, where we can identify who is what or who is who in the structure of your data. So we do not use your data to train our models. And lastly, your data is protected by the most comprehensive enterprise compliance and security controls. I'm happy to take a further discussion on this point, because there's quite a lot of compliance elements that I can share with you. In fact, I shall add one link to our trust center that summarizes a lot of the compliance certificates that we've put in place, all the way from thinking about the Data Protection Act in Kenya is incorporated, the EU GDPR, FedRAMP, among many other elements around security, compliance, and the likes. So very important for us to understand that. This is just a quick snapshot. I won't spend too much time here, but you will have these slides available to you. But we've got nonprofit offers. Some are absolutely free, especially on the Office 365 side. Some are discounted up to 70% off commercial rates, and that is on the Dynamics ERP and CRM side, what you see on the further right-hand side. And we also have Azure credits of $2,000 a year that is available for nonprofit organizations to utilize. So very important for us to know, given the fact that I will challenge each of you to show me any other organization, large tech company, that has a value proposition for nonprofit organizations. This is something quite unique that we want to make sure that we're making available, and we're making sure that technology is accessible to everybody. Lastly is around the capacity building. Leon, you could help me on the slide. An important component, we understand that given the pressures that a nonprofit organization and limited resources are there, again, you need to do more with less. So we've got a couple of partnerships with both NetHope and TechSoup for various training. Some are free, some have a cost associated to it, a small cost to keep to cover the administrative costs of our partners. But essentially, these are good reference points. The third bullet point there is on community training. These are all free Microsoft virtual training days. And these are webinars, live webinars that are held almost on a daily basis. And you can be able to filter through depending on your skill level or depending on the role that you cover. So they're not all technology training. Some of them are also business function training, thinking questions as if you're a CFO in your organization, how should you think about the shift from, say, CapEx to OpEx operating models, and what are the impact on your program design? So all those kind of trainings are there as well. Few links there on how to get started if you're looking to learn more. But with that, without further ado, giving it back to Leon, looking forward to these demos. Welcome.
Okay. Thank you, Irimo. Thank you very much. So that basically paints a picture when it comes to the vision which Microsoft has for the nonprofit sector. And this is being led by Microsoft as an organization, because for the nonprofit it's very key, and this is something they dearly hold. So where do we come in? So that's the next question. So what I'll do, I'll dash you through this presentation before I invite my colleague Philip. So that's where the cool stuff is. Just to take you through where do we come in, what's our relationship, Brightpoint Infotech with Microsoft, and what do we do in the market? So we have had a very interesting journey with Microsoft for the last 15 years, and we pride ourselves as a Microsoft Gold partner. which comes with a level of accreditation and certificates based on our experience, and also when it comes to customer success. So basically, our role in the market is very simple, is to help Microsoft implement this vision when it comes to the nonprofit sector. So we help you when it comes to solution deployment, so that we are able to map the solution based on your solution requirements, so that we are able to fit this solution based on your business processes. So we have been in the journey for the last 15 years. We have different offices. We are headquartered out of the US, but we have an office here in Africa. So Nairobi looks after the African market, but we do have customers in South Africa. We have customers in Zambia. We have customers in Botswana. We have customers in Sudan, Somalia, just to name a few. So basically, we are a very customer-centric organization. And for us, our expertise is built around the customer so that we can help the customer grow faster. Then, of course, our biggest differentiator in the market is industry awareness. So when it comes to industry awareness, is that we are equipped with the latest Microsoft technologies for different industries. So non-profit being one of our biggest and key industries, because we have built expertise around these industries. And we do have customer success stories, customers who are supporting within the same sector. Then number two is the right people. For you to deploy any solution, you need to have the right people who are well versed with the technology. So we have a pool of consultants. So 90% of our team are actually technical and functional consultants. So that tells you a lot that we invest a lot in people, because these are the guys who drive the vision. And these are actually the guys who implement this vision. So we are very passionate when it comes to industry knowledge, and we always keep improving, because for us, R&D is also very key. Then my next point is we are very targeted. So we just don't do any vertical or any industry. An organization, we believe the only way you can build experience is if you are targeted to specific industries. So we don't carry everything in one basket. So like I said, nonprofit is one of our targeted industries because we have built expertise when it comes to that specific sector. Then of course, we're equipped with the latest Microsoft technologies. So the moment we walk into your office, you are in the best hands. You are in safe hands, and you can always trust us with your business and your business processes. So this slide basically talks about some of the global implementations we have done. So we have done close to 100 plus implementations. Then for the next slide, it's actually all about value proposition. So what are some of the key values we are proposing to nonprofits? And this will also be showcased by my colleague Philip on some of the value we will be bringing to your business. So this can actually differentiate you from the rest. And at the end of the day, as a donor, I'll always want to work with a non-profit that has processes, that has controls. And also, if you look at the maturity when it comes to their technology departments, that's a big plus, and actually that attracts based on our experience. Then, of course, we are all about keeping it simple, because we believe in simplicity and automating your business processes. And we come in as a partner to improve your business processes. So like what Wairemo has mentioned, from different products, from fundraising and engagement to volunteer management to program impact, these are some of the solutions that we will be discussing. And these are what we call game changers when it comes to the nonprofit industry. Then the last slide basically paints a picture of our global customers. So we have customers located in different regions of the globe: Africa, America, UAE, name them. So this also tells you a lot about Brightpoint as an organization, is that we have the capacity We have the knowledge to implement or deploy and support solutions at different global reach. So we are not limited to certain areas, but we are able to deploy the solution in different regions. So, and the beauty about this with all our satellite offices is that after sales support is also very key when it comes to solution deployment. Investing in solutions is one thing, but having a partner who is able to support you and hold your hand during this transformation journey is also something we pride ourselves with, because when the Nairobi office is closed, our India office is open. When our India office is closed, our US open, or our Canada office, they are also open. So this tells you, for us, it's actually business on the go. So you can always reach out, and I hope this has painted a picture about Brightpoint and our relationship with Microsoft. I know we'll keep engaging to further discuss this, and also to further discuss your requirements, and I'm looking forward to moving this discussion to the next step. So, and I'll also share our company details on the chat so that you can have this. But like I said, after this session, I'll also share thank you notes whereby we'll also discuss more about your business processes and also more about your pain areas. So I want to welcome my colleague. He's called Philip Gigi. So Philip will now take us through the AI bit of the presentation. He is a technical consultant, and he also looks after the business solutions for the African region. So Philip, feel free. The floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Leon and Werimo, for the introduction. And thank you everyone else for making the time to join us this afternoon. I know some of us weren't able to join the session we had yesterday. Yesterday, as Werimo mentioned, we had the communication part. Today, we'll largely be looking at the AI part as well as the finance solutions bit. So for the folks who didn't manage to join us yesterday, Leon will be, you can request Leon to send you a copy of the recording, and we can also continue the conversation one-on-one. So allow me to share my screen, and then you let me know when you can see my screen. So on my screen, I have an Azure, my Smart Search window. That's what I'm currently showing. So the real life scenario that we got from one of the large non-profit organizations here in Nairobi was they had huge amount of data that they wanted to show. Number one, they wanted to convert this data. They were in 40-foot containers. So they wanted to convert and digitalize this by scanning them, storing them, and then uploading them on a SharePoint site. So the solution they were looking for is that how can they query this info? So what we did is that by uploading them to SharePoint, we did an integration between Azure Cognitive Search and ChatGPT. And what we did is that after we did this integration, we are able to query the documents that we have uploaded on this SharePoint site. So on my page, on my screen, what you can see is a site that we came up with. And this bit where it says type a new question, this is where ChatGPT comes in. For example, I have uploaded a few documents. I grabbed them from the internet and then I uploaded them on our SharePoint site. And if you want to query the documents that we have uploaded on that SharePoint site, is that you just enter the info. If you see my screen right now, I have a bunch of documents. I have a balance sheet standalone. I have a PPIT Power Automate Tech Use. I have the Irish Aid Monitoring Report. I have a sample Black Cat book. And we have a WFP document that we had uploaded. Now, using the search functionality that we have created, you'll be able to search any information in these documents without having to go to the container or your storage area to look for files and files before you come up with the information that you need. For instance, if I come to this Irish aid monitoring report, I don't even need to open this report. All I need to do is come to my search here, and then I will say, tell me about the Irish aid report, or rather Irish aid. I can just leave it as that. And when I click on send, it's gonna query the information that I have. And then it will tell me, it will read for me the documents that are in, or it will read for me the information that is in that SharePoint site. And I can even tell, and on top of that, it will give me a reference that it is getting this information from this point. And I'll be able to query all that. And the funny thing about this tool is that it gets smarter with time. So I've just asked it, tell me about the Irish aid. I can even go on ahead and tell it, tell me more about the Irish aid project. What it does, it goes back there, it gets Mama Mata, and it gives me more info based on the documents that we have uploaded, right? Then I can tell it, give me a summary of the Irish aid project. So it's gonna get the information from that, and then it will summarize for me the information that we that you have already uploaded in that site, and it is very accurate because it will filter the information based on what you have asked it. For example, for instance, I can ask it, tell me the Irish aid project reference number. So it's gonna go back to those documents and then filter based on the question that I've asked, and it will give me exactly the information that that I need. So this forms a conversational point that when you're in a board meeting and you are trying to strategize and say, we need to do a strategy for project A or project B, and you have questions such as, what did we learn from a previous project? You don't need to send people to go and fish for information. Even if, let's say, you are doing a similar project and you want to know how much did you spend, you can just go back to those documents from this SharePoint site, query the information, and you'll be able to make the decisions required as and when. So this one document that I've queried, but this SharePoint site, you can hold as many documents as you require, and you can query from them. So that is one document that I've shown you. On the same SharePoint site, I have this WFP document that I have uploaded. And all I do is I can come back to that. I can come back to that document. If I need to query information based on the WFP, I'll just use the same site and I'll just type my question. For example, I'll say, how does WFP improve nutrition? So the document is already in SharePoint. So what this tool will do is go back to that SharePoint site, look for the information, and then display for me. And it will give me the information that I need. Again, I can say if I need any financial information to let's say to provide to auditors or to other decision makers or to the management, I can ask how much cash vouchers were distributed. So once I press enter, it will tell me the same information that I asked in 2021, WFP distributed this amount and so on and so forth. And it will give me when the total. It is that smart. So this tool we created in conjunction with Werimo and the Microsoft team. And it is an ongoing project that we are currently doing with our partner here in Nairobi. So in terms of AI, this is what I wanted to show you. I had shown a glimpse of it yesterday, but for the folks that joined us today, I wanted you to have a look at this as well. Yeah. So in terms of managing finance and operations, we have been implementing a system called Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. It is, as you can see my screen, this is Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. It is on the cloud. It is an SAS. I know Werimo will gladly tell you that it is heavily discounted for non-profit organizations based on the criteria that should pass and provide information such as your certificate of incorporation and other regulatory documents. It is a very interactive system. It is properly linked to Azure, and you'll be able to access your other Microsoft products such as Outlook, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, and so on. So, and the most important thing is that it is easily accessible. You don't need to be in front of a computer or your laptop to access this application. As long as you have internet, you have your mobile phone, smartphone, you have your tablet, you'll be able to access this application. It is what I call a revolutionary ERP. Having worked with ERPs the last 11 years, I've worked briefly with QuickBooks. I've implemented the earlier versions of Microsoft products such as Great Plains, Solomon. I've interacted with Navision, but you don't get the feel and look of what Business Central is giving you. So on my homepage, this is what you get in when you log into Microsoft Dynamics Business Central. And as I was saying, it is a very good looking system. As an accountant, I am pleased that I'm able to work with this. It is also interactive. For example, you can see all these snapshots. For example, it is telling me your overdue purchase amount is this much. In earlier versions of ERPs that we have worked with, you need to look for information by going in to generate reports and so on. But here, you log in, you see this, you click on it, and then it will download for you. It will show you all these documents that are making up this amount. The amount in red, it will tell you that these are overdue documents. And what does this do? For any accounts payables accountants in the house, you know what comes with payment terms. Some payment terms will tell you you'll get a discount if you pay your invoices within, let's say, 10 days, 30 days, and so on. So once you use those parameters, upload your vendors with such parameters, you'll be able to get a snapshot and say, can I make a saving if I pay these documents on time? And by doing this, by setting up this system correctly, you'll be able to enjoy such things such as payment terms, discounts, and so on. Going down, you can see your ongoing purchases, your ongoing payments. So think of yourself as a manager in the procurement office or a manager in the accounts payables office. You don't need to go to ask your payables clerks or your payables assistants, what are you working on this week? You already have the snapshot here. For example, you want to know ongoing purchases. What do we have? Just click on this. You'll get all the purchase orders that we are currently doing. What does this also do? It helps you manage your cash flows. For example, at the end of the month, I know if all these payables or if all these purchase orders are going to get approved and the suppliers are going to bring their invoices, this is how much I will need at the end of the month. Again, you don't need to generate reports and request people to do reconciliations of what they are doing and so on. You can get this information right in front of you. And not just in front of you, you can get this well if you're let's say in traffic and you're not driving, you just go to your mobile phone, bring up the app, and then you'll just be seeing all this info. Outstanding vendor invoices. If a vendor calls you, you're the manager or you're the AP clerk, the vendor calls you, you don't have the excuse anymore of saying, let me check the reports and see if I owe what I owe you or what I don't owe you. It is right in front of you, and without you having the need to generate reports and do other queries and do other reconciliations. It is right in front of you. Coming down, approvals, you'll be seeing your approvals on your homepage. If let's say you're a manager, you're requested to approve for purchase orders. Again, on your homepage, touch of the screen, and you can see any POs that are pending your approval. And then you have your actions of approve, reject, or delegate, view the comments, and so on. All this is right in front of you. You don't need to open 2 or 3 windows for you to access all this stuff. It is right in front of you. Coming down, we know there are some NGOs that probably have different setups of intercompany. There's the NPO part, and probably there's another revenue generating company. You can create multiple entities in the same tenant. And that way, you'll be able to do, if you need to do any intercompany transactions, you'll be able to handle all that. And then coming down again, classic example, you're an treasury accountant, or you're the finance manager, or the payables accountant. You have your favorite accounts. You want to make sure that your checking accounts are in balance. You can set them up here and say, these are my favorite accounts. At the scroll of a screen, I want to see what's going on in this account. Is it reconciled? Are we out of balance? And to see the transactions, again, you just click on the hyperlink, and then it will download for you all the transactions that have been entered in that GL account. Again, this is a properly integrated system with Microsoft. You don't need to do a million queries to download these reports to Excel, or what you used to get in other systems such as GP, where we used to have to download them to CSV and then convert the CSV to an Excel file. At the click of a button, it tells you, open in Excel, or edit in Excel, or share to teams. If let's say you have a team site for payables team, you can share it to the entire team and they'll get the same report, which means the flow of information, it's very fast and it's very seamless. Coming down, it is properly integrated with Power BI. Now, there is a Power BI report that we had designed some time back for one of our customers. So all you do is you'll be seeing your Power BI reports on your homepage. And again, other than that, is that you can expand your report and you'll be seeing your reports on the go. Other than being able to open different reports here and there, you'll be able to see your Power BI reports. Here, you can run the slicers. For example, if let's say you want to change the year and you just want to see 2014, you'll be able to update all this information. You'll be able to see your revenue amounts, your expenditures, your funds for each, let's say, project, your funds for each grant, and so on. You'll be able to see them. We have even gone ahead to say that we want to show that the users, the top 5 accountants by expenditure, and they're able to see all this, and this really streamline the way they made the decisions. And then other than that, you can have your typical accounting stuff, such as trial balances. You'll be able to see your trial balance on the homepage. And then what the reporting box does is, let's say you generate your, let's say, your accounts payable report. You generate it at the end of the month, such that on the first of the month, you want to see the position. You don't need to be generating that report every day. All you do is that go to the report and then schedule it. And then after you schedule it, you give the parameters and say, I want this report generated every midnight on the last day of the month. Now, what will be happening is when you come in the morning, come to your reporting box, your report is already generated, and then you can proceed with other operational duties that you have regarding that report. So that is the homepage you have. And then perhaps Wairimu or Leon, you can tell me if there are any questions that you'd like me to answer before we move on to the other parts of Business Central.
So
Thank you. Yes, go ahead, Leon.
I see there is a question from give me a minute. From Andrew.
Yes.
So Andrew is asking, apart from GL account and project code, into how many other dimensions can we break down a transaction, e.g. budget line?
Thank you, Andrew. So I will be covering dimension and dimension values in the next 5 minutes. That is why I'm headed to. Any other question?
No, you can proceed.
Awesome. So just to answer Andrew's question, we will be getting there shortly. So gone are the days where accountants require chart of accounts to have long lines, such as in GPA. Remember, some accounts used to have a GL, a segment of coming to like 20, 30, 40 characters. In Business Central, they've made it very easy. They've created what we call a lean chart of accounts. And for the non-accountants in the house, the chart of accounts is the backbone of your financial statement. It is where we determine where expenses go, where revenues go, where funds go, where liabilities go. So what Business Central have done, they have created for you a way to do a chart of accounts. So these are typical chart of accounts. It has balance sheet accounts. I know some NPOs don't have balance sheet accounts, others have minimal just for reporting. But this is how we structure our chart of accounts. And Business Central allows us to do that. So we have the account code, of course. We have the account description. And the beauty with Business Central is they are giving us the numbers in the chart of accounts as a balance. What does that do? You don't need to keep on running different balances here and there. And the other beauty is you can query what your numbers represent here, and you can see what the makeup of those transactions are. For example, you can see vendor, you can see the account, the balancing account. You can see almost every other information that you need. So for the users who require tons and tons of fields to make reports, this is just a simple report. This is out of the box. You haven't done any customization. You haven't added any reports, or rather, you haven't added any column. You've just simply come to your chart of accounts. And then what you said is, let me see what this 1 million makes up. And then you can see the posting date, the document type, the user ID of the user who posted. This is a very good security feature because you're able to create an audit trail of the user who entered each transaction. You have the GL account name, you have the document number, the GL code, you have the description of the transaction, and then of course you can have other information. So these are the basic columns that you have in this general ledger entry report. What Business Central has done, again, very beautiful thing. I've only seen this with 2 other systems. That is Business Central and Finance and Operations, is that you can personalize your screen. You can add columns and go on. For example, I can see all this, but let's say I want to see much more information. Let's see what we have. If I come to personalize and say, let me add a field on this, I can see all these transactions, or rather all these fields that I have here. For example, I can see the source type, I can see the quantity, the job number, and so on. I don't know whether there are any job numbers on this report, but I can add a field. So I just click on drag and drop. So if let's say you had a project on this one, you'll be seeing the project's code on that report as part of the job. It is one of the main functionalities that has seen Microsoft Dynamics Business Central become a game changer in this field. So this is your chart of accounts. This is your typical, it has your balance sheet, it has your income statement, it has all this. And the other beautiful thing about it is about the interactive that I mentioned about it is manipulating what you see on this report is very, very, very easy. Let's say you are only interested in the income statement part of this report and you're just saying balance sheet and you have to get rid of this. What you can do is that you can create a sub report here and say, let me see something. Let's say I just want to see my income statement. And I want to save this and call this, I want to see my income statement report. So all you'll be doing is come see this, you have your income statement. You'll just be seeing your income statement accounts here. And you'll be able to query the information that you need from these income statements. You'll be able to download this report to Excel again. Any of these lists that you see, you just click on this, and then you can open in Excel, edit in Excel, and so on. Again, based on what I had seen in previous systems that I worked with in the last 10, 12 years, is that to get such a statement, you either have to get the report designed for you by a technical guy coming down with management reporter or FRX for those who work with FRX, in order for you to come up with this report. But with Business Central, you don't need any of that. With a click of a button, I've created myself an income statement. Same thing that I want to create a balance sheet as well. All I need to do is come again here and filter this with balance sheet. Again, save it, and then call this balance sheet. And here I go. I have my all accounts now. I have all my reports that has income statement and balance sheet. I have my balance sheet report right there. I have my income statement report. Very few of the systems that I've worked with are able to do these kinds of manipulation on data within a short period of time. It's taken me a few seconds, just filtering and then saving the report. So now this is your chart of accounts. Previously, what I've seen in the past with systems such as QuickBooks. QuickBooks used to lead guys to do work with classes and multiple segments of chart of accounts and so on. With Business Central, all that is gone. You have your lean chart of accounts, but that does not mean that you cannot dice and slice the data that you have. You can post this data to a region, let's say area, you can post it to a program, you can post it to a project, and so on. How do you do that? You can do this using a functionality called dimensions. So here I have my dimensions, still in the finance part. And you can see I can create as many dimensions as I can. For example, campus, country, customer group, department, program, projects, purchaser, sales campaign, salesperson. The last I checked, I think we had a maximum of 8. I don't know whether it was 8. I can check for you. The last I checked, there were 8 active dimensions and unlimited dimension values. So what this does for the non-accountants in the house, again, I have my chart of accounts here. I have my income. I have my donor funding. But with this donor funding, I have I have 10 projects that I'm doing, and each of the project has a different donor. What does this mean? I will maintain only one donor funding account, but I tell the system, hey, when I hit this 4100 account, I want to be able to differentiate between the different donors that who have donated to me. So what I do is I come to my dimensions, then on my projects code, I can create different donors and different projects. And now that is how I'm able to say that under the project, I have a project going on called Gavi, that's Nairobi vaccinations. I have another one called WFP, other donors doing 4 bore feeding programs. I have another one being funded by USAID, doing these advocacy programs. I have another one for WFP, doing so and so. So you're able to say that, yes, I've been given donor funding, and this donor funding have been given. This one has been given by Gavi. This other one has been given by WFP. This other has been given by USAID. This other one has been given by WFP. And what you're able to do is that is, well, when you're doing your reporting, because I know there are the monthly reports that go to the management of the non-profit, and the other reports that go out to the donors, you'll be able to differentiate the different performance of reports. I know this part usually raises questions, so I'll be welcome, Leon, if you could tell me if there are any questions that you'd like me to respond to before I proceed to the other part.
So far, no questions, Philip.
Awesome. So, Andrew, I hope I answered your question. You can type in the chat if you have a follow-up, and I'm also willing to discuss this for further with you. So, you can have different dimensions. Here I have these are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Here I have 9, but the last I checked, we had a maximum of 8 active, but you could have other inactive dimensions that we have. So that's the first part of creating a chart of accounts. You have your chart of accounts, you have your dimensions. Another important thing when it comes to these NGOs or rather these NPOs is budgeting. We all know how donors and grants, they want to see if you're using the funds to the projects or rather to the activities that you have agreed on. So what we do is that what we usually do is that we usually create budgets. So these are typical budgets that we have. And you can have a global budget based on your projects. For example, I have this 2023. And if I drill this down, I can see my global budget. Yes, this is a global budget that I have. On this global budget that I have, saying that my donor funding, I expect it to be this much in January, February, March, and so on. What we usually do is, based on the dimensions, remember that I talked earlier on, you can say what you expect from project 1, what you expect from project 2, project 3, project 4, and so on. And again, you make use of dimensions. For example, you can see my donor funding is that I expect 62,300. This is my global budget for the entire NPO. But what if I want to see, but what has project 1 been given? I can come again to my filters and say, let me see for project 1, the Gavi Nairobi vaccinations. How much budget do we have for that? And when I hit OK, I am able now only to see Gavi. This is how much they have given us for the entire year. Our budget for the campaigns and recurring gifts and data generated funds and so on. The project cost they expect only to be 15,000 and so on. And again, come here again and say, what if I want to see only for project number 2 for WFP? I'll just come again here, I hit OK, and it will filter for me and show me for this type of for this budget. For WFP, we only have this much, and they've given us for these expenses. So I will be able to track down and do a budget control based on the amounts they have given us to spend on the activities. So this what we are calling dimension budgets. And we'll be able to do all these, the budget controls, we'll be able to do reports based on the actual and the budget. We'll be able to do analysis views as well. So, and the beauty with this, doing this budgeting bit is, it is also a very simple way of doing this. As long as you have your numbers, you will just export your budget to Excel and then populate your numbers. For example, I can do this. I can just do a very quick budget. So for example, I want to say, I just want to do one for 40,000, so that you see how easy it is to 99,000. And then I want, yeah, that is fine. And then I'll hit OK. So it will download for me the project in Excel. I'll open this file and you let me know if you can still see my Excel file. So this is my budget. And you can see this is for project number 2. This is my budget. It has downloaded me for that. Let me close this, because what I want to do is that I want to filter this for project number 3, which I don't believe we have anything, as you can see. It doesn't have anything here. So I will export this to Excel. This is project number 3. Again, this is 40,000 to 99. Hit OK. It will download for me a blank budget. And here I can populate my budget now. I can say probably this is fire. Let me look at editing. I'm just trying to show you two things here. One, the accessibility of integration with seamless integration with Microsoft products. And number 2, I'm trying to show you how easy it is to manipulate this ERP. You don't need hours and hours to work on budgets and so on. I just populate the for time time reasons. I'll just populate the incomes, and then I'll save this file. Again, you can see it is very easy to find your way with Microsoft Office. I will save that file. Now I'll close this and come back to my Business Central. Now this time I'll say import from Excel. And then it will tell me where is your file. I think this is my file on other documents. This is my file. Then I'll say yes. You remember initially we didn't have anything for project number 3, right? Now we've imported everything for project number 3. And remember, I only updated only the incomes, and this is what I have, the incomes. So that shows you how interactive these documents are. Once you do something in Excel, uploading it to Business Central, uploading it to the system is very easy. You don't require any outside knowledge of, let's say, SQL or the databases for you to upload these Excel documents. So as I proceed with the general ledger, there's also another facility that I'd like to show you that will become very handful. That will become very, very handy when it comes to things such as reporting. Microsoft have given us a search button here, and you can search any window or any form or any report that you want. You can search here, and then it will find for you. So the report that I'm interested with here is called analysis views. So what analysis views does is that it will look at the data that we have, and then it will compile it in a way that you'll be able to do your reporting very easily. So what I'll do is that I'll update that with the information that I may have entered, and then I'll look at the analysis by dimensions. What I want to see as part of my columns is the projects. And I want to see this for the lifetime. Okay. When I do this and I click on show metrics, what does this show me? It shows me my income statement for all my projects. It shows me Gavi, this is how much donor funding we have. WFP, it shows me how much funding we have. USAID, it shows me how much we have. WFP, and so on. And then you'll be able to see all your project costs in one go. This is in one go without generating different reports and merging and doing massaging the information and plugging in some other information. This is in the same system using one chart of accounts, but you're able to slice and dice your data based on different parameters. Here I'm using the parameter of projects, and this is how I'm able to see all this in info. Another thing, as I said before, the interaction between Business Central and Microsoft Office. In one go, I can export this report to Excel for any other information that I may need to do, such as drawing pivot tables and charts and so on. Out of the box, again, I don't need to massage the information a lot. Export to Excel, and then probably fill it in the other reports and share it with our donors. Okay. So in terms of slicing and dicing your data, this is what we have. Now, what I want to show you is the background of doing all this. But before I do that, allow me to show you another thing. That the world is global. You may be having transactions in Kenya shillings, others in dollars, others in British pounds, in the euro, and so on. Don't worry about that. You don't need to be doing conversion every other time. You have your finance module here. You can have your currencies. You can have your currencies here. You can set up as your currencies as you want. And what we've done is that we have linked our Business Central with an exchange rate service that runs a job. What this job does, it looks at the currency exchange, and then it populates this automatically. You don't need to be coming every other day to update what is the currency today. Probably someone forgot to update. What this does, we've created a job. We've created a job here that updates the exchange rates every other day. And if you look at my job queue entry, you'll be able to see all the jobs, all the jobs that have been created to update the currency exchange rates. What does that leave you to do? The only thing that this leaves you to do is doing your monthly end closing, where you have to pass the transactions to do the gains or losses in the currency exchange. Okay. So we've looked at the backbone of the ERP. The backbone of the ERP is creating a proper chart of accounts and then slicing and dicing this data with the dimensions and the dimension values. But what about the intricate details? Say Gavi have given us funds to do vaccinations in Nairobi. How do we track what these activities are and how they are doing? Allow me to log in here as a project manager. So the beauty with Business Central again is that it gives you different personas. Initially, I had logged in as a business manager, and that is how I was able to see all these other things such as general ledger, currencies, analysis views, and so on. Now it has given me the opportunity to log in now this as a project manager, because essentially the donor manager or the program manager or the project manager is the one who's able to see all these projects. Now this is an end-to-end project module. It will give you a snapshot of what my actuals and my budgets are. How are we doing in the different projects? It will give me similar reports on how the different projects are doing. If we want to track the time spent in a project, you're able to see the timesheets that have been entered. For example, you want to know in a mobilization how much time was spent. You'll be able to track down all this in info. So you can set up a job as a project. Let's look at one. So we have our jobs here. And I'd like to look at this one, job number 30. This is a typical project that we have. It has been given funds. We've been given funds by Gavi for instance. We have assigned myself as a project manager, and the role of me in this project is for me, number one, to track all the funding is coming through. How are we doing in terms of budgets? What activities do we have lined up? And number three, any attachment, any deeds, and any agreements, and any documents that we may want to attach, you can attach them here. Such that in future, in case there's new onboarding to be done, the new people can come in here and track any documents that have been done. So this is a project that we have. It is called Gavi Region Vaccination. Let me close that so that we can expand. And here we have the different activities going on for this project. We have our job task number. We have the description of the jobs. We have the job, the start date that we anticipate and the end date. We have the budget of each of the activities, and we have the actual. You will notice that I might be able to manipulate the budgets here, but for the actual, this will track from the transactions we enter, any purchase orders that we do, any payables expenses that we do. They will be coming to populate this field, and then you'll be able to generate your actual versus budget reports, and then it gives you snapshots. What is the percentage complete? Percentage of the overdue planning lines. You'll be able to see all this information without cracking your head over and over, wondering where are we on this, what time will I do on my reports, and so on. In a snapshot, you'll be able to get all the info. So yeah, I've already shown you how to create the budget for this job. Now, let's say we are doing a PO, purchase order, or a payables invoice for this project. How do we do it, and how do we post the transaction to this job? You can see my task here, vaccinations. I've just given it a dummy activity and called it vaccination drive. We have a budget of 1.8 million, but we haven't spent anything yet. But we've been requested, hey, why don't you post this expense, let's say for mobilization or something like that. How do we do that? Once we bring in we've done the pre-procurement planning and so on, and we've gone and identified the vendor. We say that these activities will be done by vendor A. So you'll come to your purchase invoices and then enter a transaction. So for purposes of this demo, I have turned off all the workflows, because you can have as many workflows as you want based on project, based on accounts, based on users, based on different editions. So I'll come and select a vendor name. That's just a typical vendor that I picked. I'll enter the invoice number. And then here, when entering this transaction, I can select, is it an inventory item being procured? Is it an expense? In case it is an expense, I'll select the GL account. I'll select a typical, let's say, expense account, such as a 5,200, it doesn't matter. And then now here, this is where now I tell the system, hey, this has been, it will be going to Gavi. And it will be for the vaccination drive exercise. And it is in the Baba budget. Okay. And for this activity, we are spending, let's say we are training, let's say 10 staff, and each staff, let's say we are paying 1,200, giving us an amount of 1,200. Okay. After this, what we do is that we post this transaction. How do we post? Again, this is not like the former systems where we had like GP or Solomon or Navisions where Navision where sometimes it used to force you to create a batch and then save the transactions in a batch and then post the batch. Sometimes you get a problem with the breakage of the link and then you get other errors. Here, same form, you've just scrolled up and down. Same form, you just hit post. Does you go to post this invoice? Yes. Transaction done. Easy. In all my years of teaching people how to use ERPs, this one is a similar form. If you go to the purchase order form, the outlook is the same. The fields look the same. The field is the same. So after I post that transaction to this project, when I come back to my projects now, to my jobs, I'll come back to my jobs, and then I'll come back to this project, the Gavi project, and what do I see? I see my 12,000 is posted here. And when I click on this drop down, or rather on this link, I can be able to see what the transaction is telling. It is hitting job that this task line, it hit this GL account, the description is training costs, the unit cost was 1,200, the quantity was 10, and I can see even the project code and the area code and so on and so forth. So for Andrew who had asked about this, you can see how I have sliced and diced this info. Now, other than that, now when I come to my analysis view again, the report that we had generated earlier on, when I come back to my analysis view, what do I see? Let me update this. What do I see? Analysis by dimension. When I come to that view of that project, that's Gavi. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to delete this so that we see for the entire year. When I show the matrix for this, when I come to Gavi, I can see the project cost, the deposit project cost, I think training costs. If I drill down here, I can see my 12,000 here. So what have we done? We have updated the project, the activities. We've updated and say that we have already spent this amount. And most importantly, we have updated the GL as well. In one go, seamless integration, not leaving too many windows, not too many processes. In one process, once we captured that transaction, it went all the way, updated our dimensions and updated our GL accounts and updated the sub ledger as well. Because now when I go to this supplier, which supplier is this? This was this was which supplier? This should have been somewhere. So we can be able to post all these transactions in one go without doing different processes. For the accountants in the house, I hope you followed the way I've architected this all the way from setup all the way to the reports that you require. Are there any questions, Leon, that you want me to report to?
No questions at the moment, Phil.
Okay. In the meantime, if you have any questions, you can feel free to type them on the chat, and then I'll be able to respond to you in conjunction with Leon. So this is how we set up projects. This is how we set up the various activities that you do day to day in your work. This is how we post transactions to these projects. And this is how you track what your actuals versus your estimates or your budgets are. And this is how you track them in your general ledger and in your sub ledger and in your job module. Other than that, we've looked at the finance and GL. Other than that, the other nifty areas that I would like us to look at. So I'd log in there as a project manager, allow me to log in as a business manager. This will give me more visualization. So I'll come back to my homepage. And once I come back to my homepage, I can see the original screen that I had of snapshots of purchase invoice amounts, outstanding invoices, and so on. So again, we are assuming that you are an accounts payable clerk or an accounts payable manager. And then here, for example, for instance, I can see I have 2 requests to approve. So if I have these approvals to do, click on this single touch of a button. If you want to review, open the record. You will see the record that Ankura has done to me, Aurora. I review what details he has entered. If I'm happy with this transaction, I click on approve. As easy as that. Don't need to open many windows, and that disappears from my page. As you can see, I previously had 2, now I had 1. If I have this again, just click on this, see the transaction, it is purchase order number 106021. If it is within the budget, if it is within, you can see now, for example, this one is captured it in USD. I don't need to follow up and ask him so many things. I just open the record, review all the work that he's done. If there are any attachments, such as quotations, such as agreements, all I need to do is click on, click on approve, and then I click on approve. And again, the same buttons that I'm seeing here on the homepage here, they're the same buttons that I'll be seeing in the app on my phone or the app on my tablet. Previously, if you have a smartwatch, I used to do this earlier on. You will get the notification even on your watch when there's a notification due for you, and if you're fancy enough, then you can do the approval there. Again, after that, still sticking with accounts payable, you can see, for example, your outstanding vendor invoices here. Again, if let's say you have verified information and you want to create a payment journal for this or a payment voucher, again, you don't have to go to too many windows. Gone are the days where you will spend an entire day collecting information and looking at stuff. You can see your vendors here. You can see the overdue amounts. What you do is click on entries and then come on home. And then let's look at the entries that we have. For example, I'll select that entry. I will see this one is overdue. While White World importers have called me, we need to pay for this. We've gotten all the approvals. This also has gotten all the approvals. This one has also gotten all the approvals. I don't have the approvals for this. So instead of going to the way of selecting vendors on each form and on which window and then submitting all that, I can select the invoices from the homepage. Remember that I want to pay for. After doing that, I just click on create payment. It will check for me the posting date. Let me select this as today. It will ask me which bank account I want to pay from, how I want to pay this transaction. Is it computer check? Do I want to do an EFT, an RTGS, another transfer? I'll just select all that and then I'll hit OK. So what this will do, it will create for me the payments. So what I have told the system here to do is check for me if a vendor has multiple documents that need to be paid. If there are multiple documents to be paid, consolidate them into one line. If there's only one, paid by itself. And then come here, create a computer check, and then we print the check. So here all we do is print the check and then post. Or rather, post first. It will not allow me to print the check. Now again here, what we have done in the past is that once we get into an agreement with you to implement Business Central with you, we'll be working with your banks. They will be giving us your check formats. We design the check format in Business Central such that when you're printing these checks, you don't need to post the batch and then write the check by hand. With one go, you'll be able to select the check, apply the checks. You remember for one of the suppliers for wide world, I selected more than one check, or rather more than one invoice. It will consolidate for me all these invoices. After consolidating for me all these invoices, it will include them in the payments tab. And then on the bottom of it, you have my check. You can print your check in your printer. After you do that, you post your transaction. And again, if you have any approval workflow set up for these operations, you can set up a workflow such that the user, the payables accountant or the payables clerk or the accounts assistant will only be able to select the checks and then submit them for you to approve the payment voucher. After you approve, that's the only time the payables clerk will be able to print these checks and post them to the suppliers, or post this check or post these payments and then generate the EFT file or the payment file, whatever that they can upload to. They can upload to the banking portal. In the past, again, what we've done is that instead of doing the checks, we create a payment file. We've worked with Stanbic on that and a few other banks. We generate a file. Now that file is consumed from file location and then uploaded to the bank portal, where we then process the payments by going to the portal and then the approvals going through the portal to approve these payments. Okay. So far I've tackled different areas that are common in with the non-profit organizations. We've looked at the general ledger, we've looked at dimensions, we've looked at currencies, we've looked at a few other reports such as the analysis views, where you can see that the different projects and how they're doing. Business Central also comes with a cash management module, where you can be able to set up different bank accounts. For some of the projects that I've worked with, for instance, the way we saw here, Gavi have given us funds, UNDP probably has given us funds, another donor has given us funds. What some of them do is that they tell you to separate the transactions based on the accounts you're paying from. And that is exactly what Business Central does. You can set up different checkbooks and different banks based on your agreement with the donors in the same application. And those checkbooks will be of different currencies as well. For example, you can set up a checking account that will be USD. You can set up a savings account that will be another currency and so on. And you'll be able to track each one of them differently. And tracking each one of them differently means you'll be able to generate reports. You'll be able to generate bank reconciliation statements. You'll be able to upload statements in Excel, upload them, and then do a reconciliation seamlessly. And that will reduce the amount of time it takes for you to complete bank reconciliation statements. So here you'll be able to set up different checkbooks. In the past, we've set up different checkbooks. We've set up different petty cash accounts so that we can track the payments coming from each petty cash account and each checkbook. Other than that, also there's a small bit I've seen it being used by some of the by some of the NPOs. Some of the NPOs don't use it, which is the fixed assets module, where if you click on the fixed assets module, you'll be able to set up your fixed assets, you'll be able to run depreciation on them, and then link all these depreciation accounts to your GL, such that when you run a depreciation or an amortization, the calculations are done in the background, and then the numbers will be posted in your depreciation expense account, and the credit will go into the accumulated depreciation account. You don't need to pass other new journals for you to do that. After you generate the depreciation journal, all you do is post without doing other manipulations, creating other journals, and so on. Other than that, this fixed asset module, it is linked to your payables and purchases module. It is linked to your bank module. That's a cash management, because you can buy an asset, going to the bank, writing a check, coming to the vendor and paying it, and then you just record the payment process all the way from purchase to retirement. So you get a chance to link it seamlessly between the different modules. That's bank, that's AP and AR, because at the end of the day, you'll be probably need to sell the assets. So that basically is what we have in terms of the functionalities that we have seen with most NPOs. End-to-end GL, end-to-end AP, procurement AP, end-to-end fixed assets, banking, and reports. Other than that, we have other tons and tons of reports. Business Central has many reports, and I'd like to show you just a number of them. We've got payables reports. For example, in the payables module by itself, you can see we have 19 reports here. We have the aged accounts payable, we have the vendor list, we have the vendor account details. I can just show you a snapshot of the vendor aging balance. You can edit this report as at today. You can preview it. So this is a typical aged accounts payable report. We have our invoices, we have our vendors. Again, generating this report, you can even send to Excel again. And it will generate for you this same report in Excel. I don't know what affection accountants have with Excel, because it's like we generate everything to Excel, even if we don't need to do anything to it. And there you go. You just click of a button, generate the report to Excel in a comfortable format. It tells you even who has generated the report, when the report was generated, so that you can know the accuracy of the data you're working with. We have other different reports. For example, in finance, general ledger, let me just put this back, and then we have our financial statements, we have financial reports, we have trial balances, we have closing trial balances if you want to see what your closing did at the end of the previous year. We have the foreign currency reports that I was telling you about. We have in cash management, we have tons and tons of reports where we have bank account registers, the check details, what checks have we written, bank accounts list, bank account detail trial balances that will show each and every transaction for each bank. We've got our purchasing reports so that we can see our purchase processes, what are we buying, which vendors are we paying for information from, and so on. So these are the various different types of reports that we have. As I come into conclusion, two things that I probably didn't mention. The same office account that you log into your computer with, your Outlook emails, is the same account. It's a single sign-on. It is a single sign-on. We give you one email address that you'll be using as your user ID that you'll be logging in the ID. Two, you can enable your multi-factor authentication. You can enable that. Once you log into that account, do you also need to approve with the authenticator, or do you want to get a code on your SMS, or do you want to get a call? We can set that up. Number 3, and one of the most important things is that once you subscribe to Microsoft Dynamics Business Central, you'll be able to set up different entities. You can be able to set up different companies. All these are companies, and on top of that, you get 2 sandboxes. What is a sandbox? A sandbox is a replica of your main company, where you'll be able to go and do dummy transactions, test a process, test a customization, test a development, test an integration without affecting the production environment. So you can do all that, test it in your sandbox, and then replicate the same in production without having any effect on your production or your live environment. Okay. I'll be welcome to take any questions that you might have. Leon, you can let me know if there are any questions that you want me to respond to.
No questions, Phil.
Okay, awesome. So I think that's the end of my presentation. In case you want a one-on-one interaction with us, you can let me know. You can let Leon know in the bottom of the screen, and then we'll be able to proceed with that.
Okay. Thank you, Phil. That has actually been that has been a good session, and thank you to all the speakers for putting in time and all these resources together. To all our attendees, it has been a good session, and we also thank you for attending. So looking forward and look forward for more webinars in future on how Microsoft Technologies and Brightpoint Infotech as a solution provider, how we are transforming nonprofits when it comes to their day-to-day operations. So I will reach out to everyone after this call. I'll share with you thank you notes, and please feel free to engage. Feel free to share your requirements and pain areas. That's where we come in, and that's what we do each and every day, helping customers run better and faster. So without any further delay, because I know you have been patient, allow me to end this meeting. Then we can connect further and move these discussions to the next step. So again, thank you very much for your patience, and thank you very much for attending this webinar. See you soon.
Thank you, Leon, and thank you everyone for joining this. Definitely, we will be reaching out to all of you. I see Ellen requesting, asking us how to get in direct touch. We will be in touch with you after this. Thank you so much, and have a lovely rest of the evening.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. Bye-bye. Take care.